Hi guys, welcome to Learn Electronics Repair. I have a computer here from the car boot sale from the flea market. In fact, I have two computers. One is a retro machine, this one isn't, but I want to show you this. I actually picked this one up a few weeks ago, and I did briefly show this on the live stream as well. But this one is, you can see, Intel Core i5. It has some USB 3 on the front. And on the back, HDMI out, DVI out. So this is not necessarily quite such an old machine. Let's have a look inside it. And we can see, first of all, NVMe drive in there. So that suggests this is not such an old thing at all. I did get a chance to look at this at the car boot, so I know what was in it. Basically, I can see there's two DIMMs in here. And on the motherboard somewhere, I could see a model number. So it's an Asus motherboard, LGA 1700. So that's a fairly recent generation i something or other. And just down underneath the hard drive, we'll call it, it actually says, and I can see it better from this angle, H610M. So this is gonna be 12th gen, 13th, 14th gen Intel i something, okay? And the guy, after a little bit of haggling on this one, sold it to me for 40 euros. 40 euros for this, okay? I didn't know at the time whether this worked or not. So as I mentioned, I tried this on the live stream, and in fact it does actually work. So I'm going to show you what I actually have here for my 40 euros, because I was a little bit surprised to find out what it actually was. And this is, we can see, a machine with a password on, so we don't know exactly what the password is, okay? But it boots up into Windows. We do get that far at least. We can have a quick look in the BIOS. That should tell us what we actually have here. We have two 8GB DDR4. They don't actually match. One's obviously been added, but they're the same speed and they do work okay. We have a 512GB NVMe. We can see that there, okay. We have a 12th generation i5 12400, so that's the processor in there, and it's working fine, okay? So that's what I got for my 40 euros. I was well pleased, to be honest, on that one. What do you guys think? I'm a bit surprised I could find that, but there you go. That's how much you wanted, that's what I got. Just goes to prove there are some bargains at the flea market, yeah? So what am I going to do with it? Well, I had it sitting on one side for a few weeks here, and then I decided that I was going to sell it to Detlef for what I paid for it. So Detlef's having this one off me, 40 euros. He's having this with it, which, you know, I got this from the car boot, so I had to fix it. So effectively 50 euros for that 90. And I found him a bigger power supply, because this won't fit into this case, okay? This is not going to fit into here. But I found this for Det. This works as well. So torque, no, something Tuke or something, Eco Power 2. This is a 600 watt ATX, so you can have this as well. So we called it 100 for the lot, yeah, 10 for this, and then what he has there. Det's bought himself a ATX tower and a bigger storage drive, and that's going to be Det's machine. So Det wanted something. He's a bit of a casual gamer and messes around with stuff, but I said, you know what, for your casual gaming, and he only runs at 1080, that should be fine, yeah. So that one's Det's. I'm actually upgrading my big machine at home, by the way, my video editing machine. I'll make a video if you guys are interested when all the stuff is here. So this is just getting back the money I paid, but I got the money back, and that goes into the fund for the new one. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that, just so you can see what I actually managed to find. We have left over the mini ATX power supply, which are also very useful things to keep in stock. And I have this little slimline case if I have any reason to use it. I've got a motherboard I can put in that actually. So yeah, a little bit of stuff left over, but that could be useful itself. Okay, so that's that one. Now I've managed to find, I know I've not done any Call of Duty for a little while, but I have actually managed to find some retro machines over the weeks. So I have over there, you can just see some of it, but I have 5 retro machines now. So let's look at one of those to make this a complete video with 2 PCs. Let's see if I found anything else with anything of any value in. So these machines I paid a mixture of 15 and 20 euros each for. So I'll just go grab that first one, I think, with the brown tape on, and let's see what we have. And here is that PC. So all beige, case in pretty good condition actually. For this one, usually these things get really knocked about. It's got a few nibbles, and you probably can't see very well on the camera, but yeah, a bit of a mark and a scratch there, okay. Otherwise, pretty good. So, what do we have? Well, DVD rewriter, CD rewriter, joystick port, audio, yeah, parallel, a couple of USBs. This is looking like a Pentium 4 or something like that. There's another expansion card at the bottom with 3 more USBs on. Some sort of graphics card. Okay, so the only thing that holds this together is actually the tape. So let's get the tape off and see what's inside it. My guess is probably this is a Pentium 4. And this has the look of a QDI motherboard, but we'll see what's in there. Oh, well, QDI. I got that much of it right. It has an ISA slot, oh that's interesting. It's an AMD machine. Let's have a look down there. I think I can see a brown substrate. No, hard to see. Possibly not. So, we have a machine with ISA, AGP 5 PCI. Okay. This is certainly a retro machine. Kineti 7E. I've had these motherboards before actually. Not seen one for a good while though. Okay. Is this a Pentium 3 or is it an AMD machine? Hard to say. There's no hard drive in, just the 2 optical drives. We have 2 sticks of RAM. We have a fairly generic looking graphics card in there, LAN card, and yes, this USB card. Okay, I'm going to get the motherboard out of this because I can see straight away we have some bad capacitors, so it's going to need a little bit of work. Let's get it on the bench and have a good look at it. Okay, here's the motherboard. I think this is an AMD machine. Yeah, I can see the brown substrate now. K7, V8, some numbers, okay. I'll take the heatsink off anyway because I need to change some capacitors, so let's just do that. Not that the heatsink's in the way, but it kind of is in the way if you know what I mean. Duron 1200. So, bad capacitors. These are the VRM capacitors, the low voltage side. These all look okay. The problem appears to be with these capacitors. So, that one is bulged, you can see. Another one the same, bulged and leaking. These are a little bit worse, bulged and leaking. And 2 more there, the same. Another one here. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that I can see. Bad. These 1000 microfarad 6.3 volt. They look like they might be. Let's see. Yeah, very good guess. 1000 microfarad 6.3 volt. Okay, I have some of those. So let's get all these capacitors changed and then let's see what happens. But just before I do that, I'm going to check to see if there's any short circuits in the VRM. I doubt it, and sometimes you will get shorts in the VRM if these capacitors are bad, but in this case it's on a different voltage rail that the problem seems to be with the capacitors. I have my sharp leads on my other meter at the moment, by the way, that's why you don't see them. So the VRM on this only runs from the 5 volt or 12 volt on here. There is no additional connector for this, but we can still test this. So we go to ground. This is probably the output of the VRM, which is the V core. If we see that on the source here as well, the same, which we do because they're both connected together, that's V core, okay? And there's no short there. We can see the resistance of the CPU. In fact, if I take the CPU out, we should now see the resistance of the north bridge from the same place, which will be higher. Okay, so all the resistance was actually the north bridge and the CPU in parallel. So this will be the 12 volts or 5 volts or whatever's coming in, and that's climbing up nicely. So there's no shorts in there to worry about. So let's get these capacitors changed and then let's see what it does. Okay, so capacitors all changed, all the same value, 1000 microfarad, 6.3 volts. All in the bin. So we'll just get the power supply now and try this. That's the problem, or a problem with this sort of job. You really don't know before you change all the capacitors whether or not it's going to work afterwards. And once they changed, well, you've used them, okay, you've changed them. So let's see. Of course, you could use the technique of powering it up first with the bad capacitors in. Quite often they will boot up, or at least you can see they are going to boot up. Maybe not very stable. Boards like this are a little bit rare where you have the ISO slot on, so I think in fairness I'd rather not try and power it up and just take my chance it's going to work with the new capacitors in. Yeah, a gamble we could say. It's conceivable you could damage something because of the bad capacitors. Okay, so are we lucky today? Yeah, are we lucky? So power on. Well, the red light came on. Start. It's booting. And it's asking for a graphics card. So there's no on-board video on this, but we do have a graphics card that came with it. This is also the... It's not a USB as I glanced. You guys probably noticed. So this is a Firewire card for connecting digital video camera, basically. Yeah, so that's actually a Firewire card. LAN card we knew about. So there's no onboard LAN on this one. This is the graphics card that came with it. So doesn't really say anything on this one. I don't see any make really on that. Okay, nothing under there. No. Other side, well, there's a couple of stickers, but that's just one somebody stuck on with a date. 05 maybe? Not sure. I would have thought it was a bit older than that, to be quite honest. So maybe that is not a date. And this one, just some serial number. So again, there's no real marking. N4V-0, that is a fire safety code basically. It's a certain standard of fire resilience. It won't set on fire easily. So let's put this in there anyway, then maybe we can figure out what it is we have. Okay, let's go. Start. Booting. Didn't like the graphics card. Okay. Let's just maybe reseat this a couple of times and maybe try cleaning the slot, or we can try another card, but quite often just bad contacts. Try that. Go again. Nope, definitely doesn't like it. Okay. Let's look at the slot. I mean, the card looks okay itself. Nice and clean, so that's not dirty. What's the slot like? Oh, that's a bit grubby. Yeah, looks a little bit corroded or just dirty in there. I'll try and clean that with some ISO then. Let's try this again. Okay, so I've cleaned the slot. Let's see if it works now. Power on. No, it still doesn't like that. One more time and then we'll try a different card. Well, okay, that got it. That got it all right. So, Duron 1200 megahertz. Okay, what do we have? Let's get into the BIOS. Yeah. Everything sort of looks okay. Load optimized defaults. I don't have a hard drive with this. I'm not sure what the graphics card is actually. It didn't tell me on the boot screen. I thought it was a little bit strange. Let's just try again. Well, if it did, it was so fast I couldn't see it. It tells me display controller and some device. Let's look these numbers up. So 10DE0322. Does that tell us anything? Well, actually, look, it does. AI told us, yeah. So it's a GeForce 6200. That's what that is. Huh? MSI. Right, let's have a look to see if this is worth anything. Just switch the noise off now. That was the fan. So the motherboard. QDI. Well, I see one similar, but that doesn't have the ISO slot. That's something completely different. Let's try the other number on it. There we go. That finds some. So, look, £128, £130. Yeah, 86. That's a different board. So that doesn't have the ISO slot. And you can see having the ISO slot makes a big difference. Any of these sold lately? Let's have a look. That's a completely different board. There, that's a very similar board. Oh, that's an AMD K6. That's a different thing. So I would have to say I don't see any sold, but I have seen them selling at that price before now, and I have no reason to suspect it isn't worth something like that. Let's have a look at this. So the graphics card, mine's an MSI. I don't know if that makes any difference, but £15, 23. So we can see these are selling, and these sort of like £17, 15. That sort of price, 23. Okay, so that sort of money. That one is like a sort of a PCI, but an extended PCI, the sort of thing that would go into a server, so that's not really the same thing. Okay, let's say £15. So between the motherboard and the graphics cards, and obviously there's a processor on there, £130, £140 worth. That's not bad actually. Not a bad return on that, to be quite honest. Okay, so today we had two completely different machines. I mean, really, really different. I do have some more of these old retro ones to look at, so we, at least over the next few weeks, we'll have some of those we can play with. I'm still looking for more. Yeah, summer is a very, very quiet time at the flea market. Winter is much busier. But hey, we get what we get, yeah? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you all soon again on Learning Electronics Repair. Ciao for now, guys.